I've got to admit, this is turning into one of our most challenging long distance sail ever. It just keeps coming and coming.
Well, I should have known better than to jinx it by saying our cockpit always stays dry.
We're just being beaten continuously every 3 seconds, and we are moving like crazy.
Also, in this episode,
Hi guys, welcome aboard.
we're treated to a tour of the Jeanneau 39 SV Makani. Previously on Sailing Bohemia. Well, goodbye to the Sea of Cortez, and hello to Pacific Mexico. We prepared for the 200-mile passage to Mazatlán. Fueling up the crew,
Told you I can sniff it out.
and testing the safety gear
Hang on, let me help you with that.
before slipping off into the windy night. It's difficult steering a good course in these following seas, so we've experimented by putting the autopilot in ultra responsive mode. So it's really working overtime and steering into the swells so that we don't round up in the trough every time a big wave comes past. So far it's working really well, but it's using a ton more power, so we'll have to see how that goes overnight.
I've decided that on this trip I shall not be fishing again. It's just too rough for me to be dealing with the catch. Imagine I catch a, I don't know, 2 meter big fish like I do, and then I need to be dealing with it in this swell, so not great. May go hungry.
Wait till the captain puts his lunch order in. I'm sure the hooks will come out then. One of the things I love about this boat is that the cockpit is almost always dry. This is the first time in 2 years we've had a couple of splashes come over. One real splash, which mopped up. So here's hoping the rest of the passage continues that way.
Thinking about having an afternoon nap. I think the first mate deserved it.
What's the first mate done all day? Mixed some yogurt with some granola, I think.
So difficult. When it's rowdy like this, everything is just difficult to do down below. It's, you know, you can't really read, you can't really play ukulele, you can't do anything because you're just concentrating about not being seasick and holding on.
Well, what can I say? The captain should have known better than to make a claim like Bohemia's cockpit always stays dry. We've never had a wave over the side, especially on a downwind following sea passage like this. Because 5 minutes after I made that claim, we had quite a big wave just slop right over into the cockpit and drench me down the side. So it wasn't too bad, just a bit of a wake-up call. We've taken a reef in both the main and the Jeanneau now. The wind is built by about 5 to 8 knots on what we had this morning, and it's made the sea state quite bumpy, let's say. The waves aren't super tall, they're not like big scary things, but in true Sea of Cortez style, they are unnaturally close together, and so that makes them quite steep as they pass by. And it's quite a challenge to hold a course in a following sea like this with the waves as steep as they are. So the autopilot is continuing to work overtime, and I'm just sitting here and watching it, really not doing a lot. But it's not the kind of conditions that are easy for the captain to relax in, put it like that. Oops, that was another one. It's got me right down the side. Might get worse before it gets better here. Lunch at last.
Well, I've got to admit, this is turning into one of our most challenging long distance sail ever. I was making lunch down below and now I'm paying the price for it, so I don't think I will be eating this sandwich anytime soon. Yeah, it just keeps coming and coming. This short swell, we just keep rocking and rocking, and we still have at least 18 hours to go. So there you go, that's the price for spending the summer in the Sea of Cortez. Tropics, Isa, let's go to the tropics, easy, yeah.
We're flying on a positive note.
Are we?
See you there soon.
Okay, so I feel pretty grounded right now. I'm not gonna be defeated by the coldness. We're going to the tropics, so the top's gone off. Sun's out, guns out.
On the positive side, the wind is steady, and it's not building beyond about 25 knots, so you know, we shouldn't get anything dangerous, I don't think, touch wood. And we are making great speed, great progress, so we should be there well ahead of schedule. I think it's going to be quite boisterous overnight and continue being bumpy, maybe for another 10 to 15 hours, and then we should have calm as we arrive. So let's see what happens.
Are we there yet? I've been asking for the last 11 hours.
Just another 18 to go.
As we prepared for the second night of the passage, it felt odd watching the sun setting over the ocean without the Baja mountain backdrop that we were used to.
We've been on our way now for 24 hours, and I've got to admit, it's been one of the most difficult passages we have ever done. In comparison, coming down the Pacific coast last year for 5 days was a breeze to this. We just being beaten continuously. Every 3 seconds we just have a 4 to 5 foot swell on the beam, and we are moving like crazy. So everything is just impossible. Eating, preparing food, doing anything. We just kind of like holding on, not for our lives, just holding on and sailing as best as we can. On a positive note, we are plowing through. We are doing about 7 knots on average. So we should be arriving in Mazatlán ahead of time. But yeah, it hasn't been one of the most pleasant journeys, I've got to admit. Both of us are pretty much sleep deprived, because even when you're lying in bed, it's just so difficult to just fall asleep because of the movement. But we have about 10 hours to go. I can't wait, literally cannot wait.
The beautiful sunrise and the smell of land ahead lifted our spirits after our second night on the Pacific.
So here we are, 10 miles outside of Mazatlán. The wind has died just now, as predicted, so we're motoring, and we needed that to actually charge our batteries. They were super flat with our autopilot on hyper mode all night. And we're also filling our front tank of water so we can be inside the harbour in the probably slightly dirty harbour water for a week without having to run it.
Nearly there. You wouldn't believe how glad we are that we have arrived after a rough night. Just gonna drop the hook, tidy up, and go and catch up on our beauty sleep. Because we certainly need it.
Much needed in my case.
Well, somebody more than the other. That's for sure.
Knew that was coming.
Didn't buy that well. It's all mud around here, and our spade anchor is absolutely fantastic for anything apart from mud. We find that in the mud it tends to kind of like slide. So this is the third attempt, and only now we managed to bite it. So hopefully it'll be fine. The wind is coming from that direction anyway, so if we drag, we just drag into that massive wall over there. But anyway, welcome to Mazatlán, eh?
Nice to be here.
Back in the tropics. Need to get the sleeve-life tops out.
I've got mine on underneath this.
That
I
doesn't
just
count.
needed a bit more insulation this morning.
It was a great feeling to complete the passage and arrive at Mazatlán Old Town Harbour. The harbour is a busy commercial port and cruise ship terminal, but there is plenty of room for sailboats to anchor in the shelter of the breakwater. The harbour has great walking access to the city, and we could hardly wait to set our feet down on new land and explore this historic city. And now for a real-time bonus episode. Well, today we have a very different kind of episode for you.
A special episode.
Yes, we're going to be sailing all the way down a dock here in Puerto Vallarta. Bohemia's dock lines are going to stay tied the whole time, and we haven't looked at the weather in quite a while.
That's right. Safest sailing is marina sailing. But the reason we're making this video is that you may remember our dear friends Fred and Veronica from SV Makani. Makani, this is Bohemia.
Hey Bohemia, what's up?
Just want to say, you've got a lovely stern.
Thank you very much. I really take care of it.
We had such a wonderful time last year cruising the Sea of Cortez with Fred and Veronica and their beloved Makani.
No, Sea of Cortez, mate. It's the wrong destination.
Have we got a home for the night?
It's 50-50.
They're two very special people to us, and we have all the time in the world for them. They really helped to keep Bohemia's crew sane as we spent the whole summer isolated in the desert together. Well, they surprised us with a visit by dropping in last week.
Look who's coming! Makani is back.
And they are getting ready for new adventures away from the boat. And they're going to be putting their boat up for sale. So we thought, what better time than to take a little tour and have a nose around. Who doesn't like looking at other people's boats, huh?
Oh, I can't wait to criticize the things he has done.
We'll be running our fingers over the tops of the doors, checking for dust.
That's right, we're gonna have the attitude of, well, on Bohemia we have it set up like this. On Bohemia, that.
I wouldn't have done it like that.
Makani is a lovely boat, and we really hope that she's gonna find nice new owners. There's nothing better than criticizing other people's boats, so let's go. She's a real beauty. We really like Makani, and Fred and Veronica looked after it so well. Maybe we may do a little swap. Who knows?
Hi
Hi.
guys, welcome aboard.
Hello, welcome to Makani. I'm Veronica.
And I'm Frederick.
And this is our 1990 Jeanneau Sun Charm 39 beautiful home.
So we bought the boat in Spain 4 years ago now, and since then we sailed 17,000 miles. We started, of course, in the Med, where we went to the Balearic Islands, Italy, Greece, and then we exited the Med to Gibraltar, where we then explored the Canary Islands.
Then we actually started our crossing via Cape Verde, and finally the big jump. The boat sailed wonderful, it was extremely comfortable, and the crew mostly behaved.
We ended up in Grenada, in the south part of the Caribbean, and we sailed through a few islands in the Caribbean before heading west to Los Roques first, and then Bonaire, Colombia, and we ended up in wonderful Panama, crossing the canal.
And we head north up to Costa Rica, El Salvador, and finally my home country, Mexico!
And our last destination was the Sea of Cortez, where we met the two Pepinos, Tom and Jerry. Oh, no, Tom and Peter.
So let's have a look around, shall we? As you can see, we take housekeeping very serious in Makani, unlike Bohemia. Welcome to my kitchen. This is my favorite part. I used to be a professional chef on private sailboats and yachts, and to me the key was to have the space and the storage in order to make it as practical as possible. So even when we are in passage, this handrail is super practical because I can hold on to regardless where we're leaning. And I can also play between the fridge, passing things to the sink, cut up, cook, and then keep going. I really like the fact that it's included within the salon because that way I am cooking with everybody instead of just like me cooking in the corner. And so this way I think it includes everybody. All the cocktails, all the drinks, you know, the servings, it's like very accessible. So I love it. To me it's great.
That's right. Do you know how many times we've been on Makani, being cooked for and getting tipsy? All those memories, eh?
Makani is a 1990 Jeanneau Sun Charm 39 with a 3-cabin layout.
So now let me put my captain cap on. I'm a bit anxious by nature and an engineer by trade. So since we got Makani, we've been working hard to keep her in good shape, but also I wanted to check a lot of systems. For instance, we removed the keel. Who would remove the keel, right? So I did, and checked the bolts, and everything was fine and all put back together perfectly. We also added quite a few systems. We added a water maker. After an extensive service of the engine, we also added a high output alternator to keep up with our energy needs, and refurbished completely the DC IM system. And still on the energy side, we also added 600 watt of solar and have brand new 4 AGM batteries. As far as the hull, we totally took care of the hull. We painted the top sides and did a preventive blister treatment complete, even though she really didn't have any blisters. We also added a fuel polisher, you know, my anxiety of getting some dirty fuel. So that boat has been taken care of along those 4 years and those 17,000 miles very well. The last refit really put her over the top to cross the Pacific and is now ready to keep going around the world.
You may remember Makani from our previous episodes. She's the boat that always overtook us. Cheating, that's what I say.
Makani is the reason that we gave up on sailboat racing, I'm afraid. It made us retire from our racing careers before it even began.
It's been really a great experience traveling on Makani. She sails very well under light conditions or when conditions deteriorate. She has a large genoa, main genoa for light conditions, and she also is equipped with a furled staysail, which makes it very comfortable to change the headsail when the condition deteriorates. She also has a wind vane, which makes it very reliable under tough conditions. So she's doing very well on all points of sails, as obviously we proved many times when sailing against Bohemia.
Please slow down.
And clearly the biggest achievement for Makani was to sail the Atlantic Ocean. And after 6 months of refit, she's now ready to sail the Pacific as well.
We love Makani very much. She's been great to us, and we look forward to find somebody that is willing to take her even farther.
And she wants to go.
She's ready to go.
Buy now, half price.
2 for 1.
Throw Bohemia in too.
For everything you ever wanted to know about Makani, visit svmakani.com. Join us next time on Sailing Bohemia, where Bohemia's fearless crew struggles to adjust to their new life in the tropics.
It's like we are in Pacific Northwest. No offense.
We explore Mazatlán and walk the world's longest malecon. And
Well, that hasn't gone according to plan. Our shortest ever sail turns into a nightmare.
we managed to run into trouble after our 5-minute hop around the corner.
Oh, it's coming. Someone is coming.
Special thanks in this episode go to our latest patrons for their kind contributions to Bohemia's Intoxication Locker. Thank you to Josh and Kimmo from Detroit, who are currently boat hunting ahead of starting their own sailing adventures. Thank you so much, and here's to you. If you enjoyed this episode, then please don't forget to tell YouTube all about it by commenting, liking, and sharing. See you next time.